Oh, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the BirdieMe podcast. It's your co-host, Anthony Valverde. Follow us at BirdieMe _ the podcast on Instagram to stay up to date on all of our upcoming episodes. My co-host is joining us, Nick Johnson. How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. I'm excited to get this thing started. We've been trying to do this for a while now. What are we doing? What's this? We got a very cool partner.
Absolutely. Backswing Golf Events is gonna help enlighten the world on golf and particularly women's golf. And we're really excited about that partnership with Backswing Golf Events and weekly guest that are part of that program, and McKenzie, the CEO. And we got our special first guest. It's always nice to start a podcast with our partner, McKenzie. How we doing?
We're living the dream over here.
Yeah, nice. Thanks so much for joining, and for our listeners out there, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got Backswing started.
Yeah, sure. So I played college golf at Kent State University, and then I moved out to Phoenix, Arizona almost 12 years ago to turn professional and play on the mini tours, the Symetra Tour, which is now the Epson Tour. My passion for the game has led me to start my company, Backswing Golf Events, and I didn't make it to the LPGA. And so this company is a way for us to help other female pros make money in hopes of getting onto the LPGA. So I'm very thankful to be here and excited to chat all things golf with you guys.
And McKenzie, we've known each other for a while, and that's kind of why I had reached out to you. Is like, how many players do you guys have right now?
We're just over 200. I think we're at the 220 mark with lady pros all over the U.S.
I mean, that's from my standpoint, that's incredible amount of just stories. Like myself, I played professionally and went through the grind of trying to get on a mini tour and all the way to the PGA. And I just thought, what an opportunity to get those stories out to everybody that I don't think has a whole lot of limelight right now, really, not only just in the podcast area, but in golf in general. Like, it's such a awesome opportunity,
especially
for
with
us.
Women's golf. I feel like when kind of how Backswing was started was there was no job that you could have to play professionally unless you're working. I worked at a restaurant, but like your 9 to 5 needs to be golf, right? And if you're not playing and practicing every single day, you're just not going to get to where you want to be. And so Backswing is a way for these ladies to come and work for us, make money, be out on the golf course day to day, and travel and support their own careers. And they don't have to find big sponsors for, money, and they can work all of the events that they want to.
So give us a little bit of a idea for everyone listening, like how do you set up these events? Like, give us kind of the Spark Notes version of
about
how
2,500 golf tournaments a year. So that number has obviously grown since we started the company. The company started, it'll be 8 years in September. And, we're personable, professional. We bring that fun energy to the golf course. And so everything that we do, we customize. So any on-course fundraising and things that we do is customizable to every golf tournament that we participate in. So that's really kind of how we are implemented into golf events. And then that's how I go after, the pros and say, hey, we have this opportunity. We'd love for you to be a part of it. And then we assign them to the jobs.
It's amazing. So McKenzie, I'm the head pro at the Crossing at Carlsbad, and if I had some interesting young women that were interested in backswing, how do they go about trying to contact you and saying I'm ready to join you?
Absolutely.
What's that process like?
Yeah, so we are hiring, with the 2,500 events that we're going to do, or more. We need as many pros as possible. So you can contact Kyra, and her email is Kyra, Kaira, at backswinggolfevents.com. Kyra is our full-time recruiting manager. She also is a pro. She's one of the, I would say, original backswing pros that started, kind of with us when we started the company. And so she's bringing on lady pros all over the US to work with us.
It's amazing. Nick, I think at La Jolla Country Club, I formerly was at La Jolla Country Club. Nick was a member there, still a member there, maybe. But Kyra, I'm pretty sure was there.
Yes, she was.
That was pretty cool. She was on the par 3, 16, I think?
Yep.
So that was pretty cool.
Yes, that's her. She works that event at every year. I think it's in October. So, yeah.
Perfect time of year in La Jolla, California.
Where was I?
It's a Monday event, so it's closed to you, the member.
Is that? Oh,
no.
The member doesn't get to go to those events. That makes sense. So basically, what we're going to be doing every week, we're going to have a new guest join us and give us a little bit of their story, which is I'm really, I met a few women trying to make their way onto the tour, and I've heard some interesting stories. I mean, I have my own.
Oh, I didn't have the talent. I never tried to make it.
But well, you got plenty of skill. I've seen it firsthand. But I'm excited to exchange some more stories, because I have some serious, like, I think most of it maybe just comes from being on the road, just traveling, driving. So definitely excited to hear some of that. I think, Anthony, you can speak to this. Our probably favorite part of the week part of the podcast is going to be questions of the week, right? So what kind of my first initial thought of this podcast, I was watching the Miss Cleo documentary. You guys know who Miss Cleo is?
Taking us way back, huh?
So she's basically like this. I wasn't even born, but there's a HBO documentary on Miss Cleo and all the drama that went behind it. But she was basically trying to commercialize literally her skills and have people call in trying to get advice, like trying to get psychic readings. So I was like, why can't we combine that with golf in some way? So we're going to get some from the listeners, from our socials, get some questions, especially from the guests of the week. Like, what are you guys struggling with? What are we going to improve on? And I think that's my ultimate goal, is just learn from everybody and try to make some more birdies. Let's try to get some scores down. Like, I don't know. I need to play some more golf first off, but
yeah, I mean, definitely it's what interests me for sure on doing the podcast is being in the golf industry for the last 15, 16 years and all the relationships that we've cultivated and created. And, it's that power of networking, and the more we can talk each other up and helping one another out, it's great for our game and talking everything golf, but a heightened focus and awareness on women's golf. So it's a nice relationship, I think, that we have here. So yeah, excited.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and I think the ladies, that work for me are super excited too. I think really the things that we're doing at Backswing is just, I don't even think the, Epson Tour or the LPGA really know how big we've gotten and how much, we support these ladies and, paying for them to go to Q school. And we have our shootout that we started this year. It's paired with our Pro-Am, which is in February, and it's right after the Phoenix Open. Nick, I'm sure you probably saw on social media that, we had the event, but our shootout really kickstarts the girls' season. And so last year, the purse was $35,000. We're trying to get that to $100,000 for 2024, which will be the largest the largest purse really in mini tour, even on the Epson Tour. Like, these purses are just not that large. And so my goal for this is to get it to 100,000 and bring our backswing pros in to compete for $100,000 to kick off their season. So, we want to get the word out. We want to share that like we're bridging the gap between the mini tours and the LPGA to hopefully keep them, propelling forward instead of, hey, I got to get a full-time job. It's like, we're going to close that gap so they can continue to chase their dream. So
it's very cool. Is it set up, the business? Is it a for-profit or a nonprofit?
It's for-profit. Yeah. It's for-profit, but we raise money for nonprofits, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
So Anthony, if you have a tournament at your golf course for American Cancer Society, they could call us and say, hey, we'd love to have a Beat the Pro on a par 3. And then we would come out and, do the Beat the Pro and raise them money for American Cancer Society.
Absolutely. I'm putting the word out starting today.
Love it.
It's, yeah, very excited to get McKenzie on here to talk a little bit about the women's side of things. And I think the initial thought was, at least for why we're doing this podcast, is there's been so much talk behind, the expansion of the men's golf and live golf and, getting it to be more on par with the other sports out there. But there hasn't been a whole lot of talk with the women's side of things. And McKenzie, you have such a great platform to try.
Yeah, definitely.
I wish there was something for men, to be honest. Like when I was going through it, like going through the motions of trying to play on tour, and it's a grind, and you do struggle, especially if you're doing it solo. And you've created a way for, you basically create a community to try to keep everyone's dreams alive, right? Well, we're definitely excited to have you on. We're going to have one guest a week from, it's over 200 players you guys have currently, still growing. Well, speaking of putting the word out, we're going to suggest you guys start subscribing now. Follow us on Instagram at BirdieMe _ the podcast. If you just put in BirdieMe the podcast, I'm sure it'll pop up. We'll have our YouTube channel up as well here shortly. And again, follow us at Nick Worthy, Verdi for Anthony Valverde, McKenzie Lyng. I can put these all in the contents so you guys can see, and Backswing Golf Events. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much, McKenzie.
Thanks, guys.